Hey guys, Jeeps here, and today we are taking another look at tribes. So, what are we doing here today? Well, the Tartarus update was released today. So what is the Tartarus update? Tartarus update brings in a whole new capture the flag map, Tartarus, as well as a slew of other tweaks and features and some really pretty cool stuff. There is Tartarus, like I said. There is also a new arena map named Hinterlands. I'm not really going to go into Hinterlands. I don't really play arena. But for those of you who do, I'm sure you're thrilled to have a new map to play on it. So that's always good. Tartarus itself is a pretty unique map in that it is very, very organic. There's not a lot of structures on it. You got a lot of big trees. It's got a big swampy area. It's pretty cool. It looks really cool. So, what other new features are we getting? Well, first of all, you're probably wondering what this deal of the day nonsense is right here. This is another new feature they've brought in. Pretty much once a day, and it's on the same reset as the first one of the day accolade. You get, and this is tailored to each individual player, a daily discounted piece of equipment. This is just chosen from equipment you don't already own, and you can get it for a discounted price. Like you see here, I can get the sawed-off shotgun from the technician for half price. That is a pretty sweet deal. I admittedly am not going to pick this up, but that's just because I don't play technician, but this is really great for when you've got that little bit of extra gold that's not quite enough to get something, provided you have some gold. And then suddenly something you want might go on sale, and you might have enough to get it at a discounted price. It's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. Now, the other big feature this brought in is Loadouts. So if we go into Modify Classes, let's just go to Doombringer. See, suddenly, you have Loadout Slots. You only start with one, which you can rename them. That's why I have it called Hoff. And you can purchase additional ones for either 40 gold or 5,200 experience. Now, I know some people are saying that's a lot. I'm not entirely sure if I agree. Even without a boost, like as you can see, I don't have a boost going right now. I did for a little while, but I don't right now. 5,200 experience, especially if you get your first one of the day. First one of the day, maybe one or two other matches, you've got 5,200 experience. And to me, that certainly doesn't feel like much of a grind, air quotes. And I don't really feel like playing this game is too grindy to begin with. I mean, the matches are fun. That's about it for me. And if you really want to pay for them, 40 gold is pretty cheap. So, either way, I think that's pretty reasonable. And of course they're going to make them unlockable. Especially since they're not a necessary thing at all. They are just a convenience update. What these loadouts allow you to do is pretty much what you'd expect. I could set up, say, I've got my Hoff set up here, and say I had, for whatever reason, I wanted to use the heavy bolt launcher and some other perks or something. I could custom loadout too, which I'm not going to unlock it right now because I'm saving for the LMG. With the Juggernaut, that's beside the point. I don't want to unlock anything right now. I could have that there. What this allows you to do pretty much is you can quick swap to the other loadout so that when you revisit an inventory station or die next time, your pending class will be your class with the other loadout. The way you do this is it is on default bound to the numpad enter key. So if you just tap that during a match, next time you switch classes or loadouts or whatever it would be, when you visit an inventory station or die or suicide or whatever, you'll respawn with a different loadout. It's a convenience thing only. If you don't want it, it doesn't matter. For example, for the Doombringer, I probably will not bother because as it stands right now, there is no other loadout I'd want to run. But I could see this being nice for raiders and infiltrators and a lot of classes, honestly, that have multiple weapons that accomplish the same goal differently and things like that. But yeah, so loadouts. That is a really cool new feature. So let's jump into Tartarus. I'm just going to skate around, give you a nice kind of view of the map, and we'll go over some of the other notes from this patch. Alright, so a few other items to go over. First of all, vehicle prices have been reduced. The Shrike will now run you 4,000 credits, the Beowulf 2,500, and the Grav Cycle is down to a measly 500 credits. Of course, on private servers, you can still change these to whatever you want. Doesn't affect them in the least. Second of all, and this will be less of a concern to us pubbies, because I don't think we're doing it too much. I know I'm not, but I can't cap, so it doesn't matter. They have nerfed punting. Now, if you're wondering what punting is when you toss the flag off and then shoot it with something explosive to make it go even farther. This generally just is a good way to get the flag farther downfield and hopefully away from defenders, especially if you're in a situation where a traditional cap can't work. The flag now moves a shorter distance when hit by an explosive if it's in the air. Again, a lot of us, this probably isn't going to affect too much. The competitive scene, this could change some things. I'm not really the best person to talk about that, though. So I'll leave that for another time. Next, there have been a few new accolades entered. A couple of these are really nice. Those being Investor and Tech Support. Both of these are incentives to upgrade your base assets. Investor is every 2 minutes that a radar or generator you upgraded remains online, you get the Investor accolade. I don't know how many credits it gives yet. I haven't actually played and gotten it. This is still strictly from the notes. But that's really nice, because this is something that is not currently incentivized really at all, other than I think you get something for just maybe upgrading. I don't even know if you do. I think it might just be for repairing. Similarly, turret support, I misread that. I'm being dumb. That makes more sense. Turret support is for every time a base turret you upgraded gets a kill, you get the turret support accolade. Very nice, very nice. And lastly, and I'm not going to go into the plasma gun, that's a whole other thorny issue, they added a separate mid-air perk for the plasma gun. Instead of rewarding airmail, you'll now get a... not perk, sorry. Accolade, that's the thing. You will now get the hot air accolade. Presumably this will be worth less credits because it is really easy to mid-air with the plasma gun. However, I'm going to stay away from that. That's a topic for another time. Lastly, we have fixed, or I guess you could say fixed, Shrike Capping, which was using the momentum of a Shrike to launch yourself out of a Shrike at the flag and get incredible speed, really without having to run any sort of route. You just have to have bought a Shrike. As far as I know, this is already kind of on the fence of being banned in a lot of competitive scenes. And they have now capped the exit speed from the Shrike at 200 kilometers per hour. You cannot go faster than that immediately coming out of the Shrike. I'm guessing if you had like a boost pack, you could probably kind of cheat that a little bit. But that's, again, going to be something kind of nice for a competitive scene, I guess. Because it might make Shrike capping less of a testy issue, because I guess it just can't be as good anymore. And finally, a few other more minor things. You can now get XP on custom servers. So if you run a custom server, as long as you have more than 8 people in a match, there are still experience rewards. That's pretty nice. And last but definitely not least, in fact, I would say this is the most critically important part of this patch. As a Hoff, when someone runs into you now and dies, there is a really satisfying splat sound. Oh yes, people can splat against your windshield like the bugs they are. Alright guys, that's it for the Tartarus update. Hope you enjoyed it. I've been Jeeps, and I'll talk to you guys later.